Hi, my name's Anna Souren. I'm a senior at Penn State, majoring in art education and minoring in deaf and hearing studies. My THON involvement started growing up when my parents brought me to THON. My earliest memory is being in Rec Hall in 2005. Since coming to Penn State freshman year, I was involved in fundraising through the Kinesiology Club. Sophomore year, I was a committee member on the Rules and Regulations Committee. Junior year, I was a committee member on dancer relations, and this year I am a merchandise captain. My most memorable moment with THON was probably when I was still in high school and I came up for the weekend to visit, and I got to stand in the stands with my brother while he was cheering everyone on with the kinesiology club. So it was a really fun experience at 17 years old and being with all these college kids, holding up their giant letters. THON has had such a big impact in my life. As I've mentioned, I've been going for several years growing up. And since coming to Penn State, I've jumped around between clubs and committees, but it has always been a community that I felt a part of and has made me feel at home at Penn State. I THON so that no THON family ever has to receive a bill. There are already so many things that are going on through treatments and managing your family and home life. So it's really important to me that through our fundraising efforts, our THON families never have to see a penny of what treatments they're going through. My parents have definitely had the biggest impact of me being involved in THON. They are the reason that I am involved. They are the people who showed me what THON is, showed me my love for THON weekend. And through that, I found support with my brother. Our overlapping years at Penn State, he was such an inspiration for me and someone I always looked up to in my involvement. My advice for anyone who is currently involved in THON or is looking to become involved in THON is never waste a second. Something we say at every single meeting, but it really is just so true. It goes by so fast and you never know where you're going to find your best friends. I never saw myself becoming a captain, but putting myself out there and applying is the best thing I ever did. And I've totally found my home on the merchandise committee, and everyone has a place in THON and it's so special.
Okay, so my name is Johnny Souren. I graduated in 2021. I was a kinesiology major, and currently I'm in grad school for physical therapy at the University of Delaware. So my THON involvement started from my freshman year. So I joined the kinesiology club. I got involved with philanthropy really right from the get-go because we had a lot of fundraising events, but we also did a lot of events with our THON families. So one of the first things I did was visit one of our THON families, and that really just kind of made it personal and special from the beginning. So that really kind of got me going, and I kind of throughout the years continued to do more and more through that. I was our primary THON chair. I was our VP of philanthropy. Eventually danced in THON as a senior during the virtual THON, which was definitely very different than a lot of other THONs. But every year I was one of those people that was, even though I wasn't dancing, I was at THON, basically like practically the entire time supporting our dancers, and just trying to experience as much of the weekend as possible there. So in terms of memorable moments during THON weekend or as a volunteer, I mean, I definitely would have to say dancing in THON weekend, especially because it was a very different THON, was very unique. Even though it was different, I was still very fortunate to have a lot of support from my club friends and family. My parents were able to come up to support. My sister was there like the whole time supporting me with my friends and club members, walking between apartments and going outside in the snow, which was, very different for a THON weekend. So I'd say that was definitely a very special moment on top of, every other THON weekend being there as a club member supporting the dancers, as well as being fortunate to really get to spend a lot of time with our two THON families that we had through Kines Club. I'd say that, every visit that we did, baking apple pie, corn mazes, game nights, lots of different stuff. Those are all very special memories. I would say that, I feel very fortunate to have been able to get myself involved early on in such a special organization that impacts so many lives. And again, it just really brings into perspective when you actually get to meet the families and talk to them and see firsthand how they have been positively impacted by THON. and, really get to know them and develop those relationships that, carry on. I actually just yesterday was on a Zoom call reunion with some alum in one of our THON families. So it really does, carry on after Penn State. And why do I THON? Again, just being able to be a part of something that has such a positive impact on so many people to, as stressful of a time as it is, dealing with pediatric cancer, getting to, really support some of the financial and other logistical aspects so that, they can really just focus on their child and, staying together as a family, and as organizations being able to, come and do some like fun events and different things to, provide some joy and other opportunities to those families is really unique. So, we've always been a big Penn State family. I'm fortunate that I got to, grow up with the Penn State culture like my whole life. Like Anna said, our first THON weekend was 2005, 2006, something like that. So we were very little. The first time we got to go to THON, and then, comes full circle when I come to Penn State myself as a student and get to, the majority of my extracurricular time spent fundraising for THON, dancing, spending time with the family. So that was really one of the most impactful parts of my time at Penn State for sure. And, they've always been a huge support to, myself during my fundraising and dancing efforts. And now, my sister has also gotten very involved in THON. So I've always been very proud of the, different things that she's done in THON with her, orgs and stuff like that. So I'm very glad that that got to be a special thing for her as well. There's so many different ways to get involved with THON, whether it be just through fundraising, donating, but there's a lot of other things that you can do as well in terms of, trying to get to know the families or doing other things to really have a direct impact and support to, really get to know everything you can about THON weekend and the families. So I'd say just take advantage of every opportunity that you can to get involved, in addition to fundraising, which of course is very important as well.
My name's Karen Souren. I am not a Penn State graduate. I bleed blue through John and my children. I'm a Penn State mom and very proud of it. Memorable moments of THON weekends, certainly taking our children up here for the first time and seeing how all of the events and the stories impacted them early on in their life, and understanding how important of an organization this is one of the memorable moments for me. Not to mention, of course, once they got involved and seeing how important it was to them to be part of THON was one of the most important things that I can think of. So THON became even more meaningful to me about 6 years ago when I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, CML. So hearing the stories and the journeys that these families have gone through has meant even more since then. And realizing the impact that this research has on families is, of course, a lot closer to home, knowing that there now are some treatments that previously were not available. So I have been in remission now for the better part of 5 more years. So that's thanks to cancer research. And so that is an important, meaningful thing for me, for THON. So I empathize with all of these families. Realizing the importance of the partnership between Four Diamonds and these families. As Anna mentioned, the fact that they never see a bill, and also all of the amazing things that they do for these families so they don't have to think about submitting paperwork and all that, knowing how much that takes out of your life when you go through something like this, and they can just focus on the kids. I think that's incredible. I think it is incredible what a student gets out of being involved in THON, both from a cultural perspective of being so involved and getting to know so many people and being part of such an important organization, but also the life and work skills that you gain from being part of the tasks that you have to do, the meetings you go through, the running of these incredible events. I think that is invaluable for a student to be part of.
So my name is John Souren. I graduated in 1990. My involvement in THON, so when I was a student here in the late 80s through 1990, I used to attend THON, and I even kept some of the old THON magazines that I still have now that I've shared with friends. So my continued involvement after that, so after graduation, I met Karen and I started taking her to THON because it's just always such a special thing. Then we had Johnny and Anna, and when they got a little bit older, like they mentioned, 2005, we have an awesome picture of them at Rec Hall at THON. So we really enjoyed taking them to THON from 2005 right up until they started at Penn State. So that's been my involvement. And then I've continued from there, whether it be, you know, supporting, being a donor, involved in events, so many different things. And then recently, 2 years ago, I joined the DMAG, the Dance Marathon Alumni Interest Group, as the technology director. So it's been an amazing opportunity for me these last 2 years, and I'm up for re-election, so I'm hoping it'll be another 2 years. But to be able to do things like, you know, websites, technology, and apply all the technology things I have from my background to this great organization and to assist on. Ever since I started going when I was a student, and then with Karen, and then with kids, and continued, it's showed me that everybody doesn't have the same situation, and that, you know, there is a true opportunity for a person, an organization, to make a difference with a child, with a family, and with the bigger picture of, you know, working towards better treatments and for a cure. So I THON because I want to make a difference with child's lives. I want to make a difference with families' lives through things that my family has already talked about regarding helping with bills, helping with treatment. And as Karen mentioned, she would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for cancer advancements. So I want to help with pediatric cancer research so we can get those advancements and get to the cure. So that's why I THON. So I would say your THON journey, your THON involvement does not have to stop when you graduate. I mean, look at me, I graduated in 1990, and I've only gotten more and more involved in THON every year since then. And I think there's great opportunities with DMAG as an organization. You can sign up and just be kept involved and just keep notified. We send out emails so you can learn that way. You can get involved and support a dancer, maybe somebody you know, or through an org. There are local events all over the country. You can do a local THON event, either attend it or even be a volunteer. And even with DMAG, you can get involved so much as being part of this great organization that supports THON and helps. And we even have dancers, so you can even dance as an alumni. So you can really continue your journey. It does not ever have to end. And I don't ever want my THON journey to end. So I'm going to keep helping and keep supporting.